This is what I think. I have a feeling that I am not the only Black woman who agrees. So we see whether this video is for educational purposes. We see whether it comes, whether the topic is confidence, accountability, or romance. There's a level of authenticity that socially white women are expected to abandon. Now let's get into, I think the first thing I started to talk about was the relationship between Black women and white women, why there's so much distrust, why at this moment in time, why the idea of sisterhood is entirely impossible. Because in the Black community, you want to know one of the most highly prized qualities you can have as a man or a woman? Authenticity. Honesty. Being real. We have like 1,000 ways of describing saying what you mean and meaning what you say. We have 1,000 ways because that's how deep it goes culturally. And the one thing that white women are taught to do and punished for not doing is to be nice. And niceness just don't always get it done. In fact, it rarely gets it done when the job is important. And this is an important job because the division between Black women and white women, it's one of the things that keeps this system going the way it goes. It keeps conversation so difficult to have. And that makes our boys and our men so unsafe around you and yours. The willingness that still exists for way too many white women to use their tears in order to get their way, and in that way compound their privilege when faced with being either held to account by a person of color or getting out of a situation that they don't want to be in, or trying to take something from a person of color. And the ways in which we are both socialized, and I'm not going to say, individual white women, there are individual white women all the time who buck this curve. And you want to know how I know it? Because they've been ostracized. They talk about their ostracization. They talk about the ways that they get iced out of their families and their communities. And I'm not saying that there are not Black women who are not as false as their nails sometimes. But you want to know what they're not? Generally, within the community, trusted. They are also outsiders in their own way. So in order for us to be able to have a real dialogue, it feels like there are a couple of choices. There's a choice that Black women could take, which is to be nicer and tell the truth less. But that's not really going to solve the problems that we have, is it? And there's a choice that white women could take, which is to be more honest and more willing to be accountable and less willing to use emotion to get their way or to get out of things. But if that's how you've been socialized from the time you were knee-high to a grasshopper, what is the likelihood of that happening? So what we're looking at is a division of communication that goes deep, and it requires some form of bridge building. Some way where I can be willing to hold space for the fact that I know that it costs you socially, it costs you romantically, It costs you in all kinds of ways to speak your mind, where I can hold space for that and give you the space to do the best you can. But you're going to have to come out on that bridge too. You're going to have to let go of the comfort of everything being comfortable. You're going to have to let go of the fallacy of everything being nice. And you're going to have to acknowledge that you wear me like a costume when you want to seem like you mean business. You're going to have to stop trying to be my friend when you don't like me. I often say that white women would rather burn each other's houses down than admit they don't like each other. But there is a phrase, which, I'm trying to swear less, but that perfectly describes how black women handle things when they don't like each other. They just say, I don't fuck with her. I don't fuck with you. We'll say it to your face. And what is understood, not that we hate each other, not that either of us needs to leave the party or event or whatever, or that one of us needs to quit or move. It just means that when we are together, we are not engaged in doing the work of trying to build a relationship with each other. Because we do not get along. You are not my type of person. I just had this with a friend who was a friend, right? And I believe that I can encounter her and be in community with her and it caused no ripples. At least not publicly. Because we both understand that we've decided that we're not compatible. It's painful, yes. Comfortable, no. But it is real. And it allows both of us to go on with our lives and put our energy into people and situations that are better for us. And so it does mean, hey, look, I think that there are enough black women like myself who are willing to go out partway on that bridge, which is to hold space for understanding how deep a cost it is for you to show up honestly and authentically. How deep a cost it is to you emotionally, the kind of deep emotional and mental work that you have to do in order to be willing and able to accept accountability when you do the wrong thing, rather than find an emotional distraction. Not all of us. I don't even know that there are that many of us, because frankly, things have been going like this for a really long time, and the behaviors that have been exhibited have cost way too many lives. So I have no problem with any black woman who's like, you are on your own, girl. No, I ain't doing that. But I think there are probably a few like me who are willing. But what that means for on your side is that you have to show up and tell the truth. It means that you don't trauma dump when you're asked a simple question. It means you don't try to be my friend when you don't want to be my friend. It means we speak honestly instead of comfortably. And that requires you to give up a lot, because you're not just giving that up to have a nice conversation with me. You're also giving it up within your community, because that's the kind of work that causes ripples once you start doing it. And it will cost you socially. It will cost you with your family. It will cost you with your friends. It will cost you with men who are used to white women showing up a particular way. But I will also tell you something about men. They like women who are honest. It's one of the reasons why so many of them are these days peeping over the fence of your men, are these days peeping over the fence at black women. So solidarity, sisterhood, we are so far away. But hopefully not as far as I think.